No.
I be in Timor-Leste. How do I record? Fucking bitch.
Bitch.
Don't call me that.
Recording.
Transgender.
Okay.
Hold on. It's just
I have a question. Am I allowed to say ableist slurs?
what ableist slurs are there?
I don't know.
There's one, and it's one of my favorites.
Oh, that one.
That one.
The one
Yeah.
the one we're all thinking of.
I'm pretty
I
sure.
feel like I'm allowed to say it because I'm a little stupid.
Not that. No. Okay, guys. Welcome to Weezer.
Okay, it's Weezer and
This
it's
is a
Weezy.
direct response to that one video that we watched.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you pull up the video just so we can shout out and just say like whoever's tier list that was dog
I
shit
don't know
ass?
where it went. I'd have to go dig for it.
It was.
You can just. What you can do is you can filter by links in our DMs from you, because you don't
Just
send me
gonna
that
look
many
up
links.
Weezer tier list and take the extra time.
Alexander Wigathy or whoever made it. I'm gonna also stream the.
I found it. It's by Nick. We are doing this in direct response to Nick but Weezer's Weezer tier list.
Yeah, and you
Yeah.
guys might get like just saying the people watching.
We're gonna.
They
we're
may
not
get.
offend some people with
There's
this.
gonna be more. There's gonna be more of this too. I'm sure.
Uh,
You're gonna get more Weezer in this Wheezy.
Yeah.
bit.
I gotta
Weezer,
say
Weezer.
that he had a pretty good list except for like all of it.
That's what I'm saying. I gotta say, I think Hurley should have been higher.
Oh wait,
Honestly,
I don't
make
remember where
believe.
he put Hurley.
It was in
but-
like it was like way too high.
Oh my gosh. Alright, well, we don't want to spoil our opinions, so we're going to go through the discography chronologically for the placing of the tiers, right?
Yeah.
Alright, cool.
Okay. They're not in that order. That's unfortunate.
They're in alphabetical order
Why?
because
like it.
also we're not going to be ordering within tiers because then we'd be arguing for far too long.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah. We'll order S tier because I think we all agree on S tier's order.
No, I think we separate
I
out
don't know
separate
about
out one U tier album. We separate out one U tier album and then we leave S unordered because I know we don't agree on S tier.
Got you. All right.
So let's start with Blue.
We start with the Blue album.
Can you guys see
I
my
think
stream?
we-
Can you guys see my stream?
I can see your stream.
Yeah.
Up it goes.
Yep.
Easy.
Album is incredible. It's got some of the
Yeah.
greatest hits of the 21st century, like Buddy Holly.
21st.
21st century. What a great moment.
Sorry, some of the best hits of the 19th century.
It's got good songs.
But yeah, no, I think that the Blue album is incredible. It's definitely the reason that Weezer has any semblance of respect today. If they couldn't have led with any other album and have any ounce of respect from anyone, I mean, they threw their respect from the people out the window, but a lot of people still vibe to this, and for good reason. It's got frickin' Say It Ain't So. It got frickin' Only in Dreams. It's got frickin' the Sweater
Holiday.
song.
Na 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 na. The lick. It has
Yeah,
the
no.
lick. It has the lick.
Holly. The whole album's
has the lick.
fantastic.
Oh yeah, the Buddy Holly lick.
Yeah.
And the iconic.
And then we got. I think next in their discography, chronologically, is Pinkerton, right?
Yes, it is Pinky.
Make U tier right now. Make U tier right now. and put
Yeah.
Pinkerton
I think that was.
We gotta give this one a different. We gotta give this one a.
Yeah, we could have saved it until the end of the video, but like.
No,
I don't know. It's pretty.
It's
It's if you have a brain, and yes, this is a direct rip to people who don't think Pinkerton is their best album. If you have a brain, you will hard agree that Pinkerton is their best album. This shit is
Yeah.
incredible. It just like this is where you start to realize, like the Blue album is fun. It's cool. It's got some good tracks, a lot of good tracks, just high peaks. But then like Pinkerton is where you realize that Rivers Cuomo, damn, that boy can write a hook.
He he can write a hook for one, but then like also I think that this encapsulates Weezer at their best, where it's like taking different ideas, and I think when Rivers writes more from a personal perspective, it tends to be better. And this is him at his most personal, and the instrumentation just pairs really well against
Mm-hmm.
that. Like you have this really super duper noisy instrumentation going on, which just like pairs really well with the anger, like the stress, the anxiety, the depression, everything that Rivers was going through at the moment. And so with any less chaotic instrumentation, the record wouldn't hit nearly as hard, but because of the way that the instrumentation is done, it justifies the emotions that Rivers is singing about, if that makes sense. For this one, I gotta go with my favorite tracks are probably Across the Sea and Tired of Sex, but if
Yeah,
I had to pick a least favorite, oh, we didn't do favorite and least favorite for Blue Album. We
favorite.
should go back and.
I'll start. Favorite probably
In the
just say it
garage.
ain't so. Yeah, probably just say it ain't so. Least favorite in the garage.
The correct
Um,
answer.
I say my
Oh,
favorite is the sweater song, and my least favorite is either no one else or in the garage.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, my least favorite is In the Garage. Easily, it's the only song close to being a bad song on Blue, and my favorite is Only in Dreams. Like, Weezer will never write another song like Only in Dreams. One of the greatest songs ever written.
Only in Dreams goes insane.
Not for real.
All right, now on to
And then,
Pinkerton's favorites. Everyone's favorites from it.
yes.
Um,
Who's Nate's?
I mean, my favorite's definitely Across the Sea at this point. Could be
Yeah.
Tired of Sex. They're pretty close, but
Mhm.
uh,
I'm not.
it's hard to pick a least favorite. I
I,
like
I'd have to go with Pink Triangle. It's just, I feel like the hook on that is the weakest, but like, it's marginally like it's still like a song.
it's still
As
a
a song, I'd put it
really
on in like A or B tier. It's
it's still a yeah, it's just a great song. Pinkerton just doesn't have bad songs, but I could see Pink Triangle being the worst.
Uh,
yeah.
I say. I say my favorite is The Good Life, and then my least favorite is probably no other one. I think.
Yeah, that's another good pick. I remember I really liked it the first time I listened to the record, but then like the more I listened to the record, more other songs shot up, and like I don't
Mm.
think my opinion on that song has changed, but it's just I like other songs better now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the opinion on every
probably
other
the last
song
better rest
changes
of the album
because
to me.
the opinion on every other song changes because like every other song just fucking like slaps.
Nah, fact. It
I
is
also love
one
Why
of
Bother too.
Mm.
yeah. Now it's time for the Crab album.
Crab if you wanna.
Crab if you wanna. The
Love
Green
Green.
album.
Green is fine.
It's one of the albums ever.
I don't think I'd ever put it higher than B.
I am
I
of the opinion that it's like C tier. I feel like it is the
yeah.
quintessential C tier album.
It's so unremarkable. Like Island in the Sun is their most commercially successful song. It's still like a B tier song.
False. That is false. That is not their most commercially successful song.
As far
That
as
comes
as far
later.
as as far as actual commercial success, I think it's still their most played song and their most sold song.
Yeah. That's-
Yeah.
It's obviously not.
But
It's probably not their most successful song, but like it's if you look at number one on their Spotify chart, you're gonna see "Island in the Sun." It's the one that's still getting radio played. It's like one of the ones
yeah.
that's still getting radio play today,
that's-
and
And then
that's
Hash Pipe
And
kind of
Hash
goes hard.
Pipe.
yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, but nobody listens to it past "Island in the Sun." Pretty much, it's just an album that's so unremarkable.
Very, very
Luckily, it's
lackluster.
short though.
Yeah,
It doesn't commit the sins of some later Weezer records, where they just like Green is like a tight 30 minutes, and like some other Weezer records just run way too long.
yeah. It's definitely a bit of an EP at some points, which is definitely a saving grace because it means the track list is short, and like "Island in the Sun" ends up being a standout of like 1 in 6 songs instead of
Yeah, I
like
think
1 in 100.
I would say that Island in the Sun is probably my favorite on the record, and if I had to pick a least favorite, it'd probably have to be Crab.
Yeah,
Just because it's the only song that I remember aside from ones that I kind of like.
And that's the issue with the album. It's so forgettable because mine's the exact same thing. Because I remember a fat two songs, and it's Island in the Sun and Crab, and the rest slipped out of my mind as soon as I finished listening to the album.
You don't remember Hash Pipe?
I don't remember Hash Pipe.
I remember it. It was just I don't know. It's like
I got my hash pipe.
it's not that great.
Cheese.
It's not that great. It's not like Island in the Sun where it actually sticks. It's like it's funny.
My favorite is Hash Pipe, and I don't.
You couldn't tell us your least favorite.
I couldn't tell you my least favorite because again, I don't remember the back half of the album. So probably something
like,
off of that.
That's probably a good thing.
I only remember Don't Let Go, Island in the Sun, Hash Pipe, and Crab.
Those are the four
songs from the record I remember.
Those are the only songs from the record. I think there's two more. I'm not sure.
Beautiful.
Now we move on.
Alright, what's
Banger.
next?
Maladroit.
Yeah. Maladroit's great, dude. I fucking love Maladroit.
Great.
Dude,
That is not Maladroit.
This is
That's
Maladroit.
okay, Boomer.
It's
Oh, my
okay,
fault.
human. We'll get to that one in a minute. Maladroit's right next to
Maladroit.
me.
Oh. I get these are the two I get confused. Because I've listened to Maladroit like twice and OK Human one time. Maladroit's like an A tier, right? A
I
tier,
give
right?
it like
Yeah.
an A, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say
It's
it's
like it's like the pinnacle of A tier.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that the thing that makes Maladroit work so well is its instrumentation, and I think that's a reason that it gets overlooked by a lot of Weezer fans. And there was a whole conversation about this on r/Weezer, and basically what people think about Maladroit is that like they say that the songs are forgettable and like the writing is just okay, but I think that a lot of times people just don't bother to listen to the instrumentation from the record, which is where it really shines. I think the instrumentation isn't anywhere close to Pinkerton in my opinion, but it's the closest they got it's the closest they ever got to Pinkerton's really good instrumentation. I will admit the hooks are a little lacking, but yeah, it's like such a fantastic record.
That's my issue with the album. It's just like the hooks writing. It's like Dan Rivers like bro put the pencil down for 5 minutes. To be fair, I think it's great coming off of Island in the Sun, where the amount of memorable hooks is maybe 2. So it's definitely a step up, but
no, I'd say that it has more memorable hooks, but it just has that stretch of like 4 songs close to the end of the album that you just don't really care about. Mm-hmm. There are decent hooks.
Well, I was talking about Green. Like Green has 2 good hooks, and then Maladroit is just a huge step up.
Yeah, because like the first 2 tracks are like the lead singles, and they have fine enough hooks, but then nothing will compare to how catchy the riff from Burnt Jam is.
Yeah, that one's really good.
And that's the song. Whenever I pick up the ukulele, it's probably the first song I'm gonna play, because I was just like, I should learn how to play this riff on the ukulele, and because it goes hard, and I did, and so I'll just pick up the ukulele and it's great.
Yeah, I learned how to play the whole.
My favorite is favorite is Burnt Jam easily. Least favorite is probably Space Rock.
I have the exact same favorite and least favorite. Yeah.
My favorite is Keep Fishing.
I like that one.
I say my least favorite is probably Slave.
Fair. I think that with Maladroit, like the tracks that I consider lesser just all blend together in quality for me. Like it's not like any of them is a cut below the rest of them.
They're all very. You can pick all of them. I like Space Rock the least because like, not because it's like. Yeah, it just kind of, I don't know, it's just not that interesting to me. Which I like. Mm-hmm. It's less interesting than the other bad songs, which.
Yeah.
Not high praise, but yeah.
Now
it's time for.
We get to move on to my least favorite.
I don't hate Make Believe.
I hate Make Believe.
I am really, really, really not a big fan at all.
Like, okay, so here's my reasoning on Make Believe, and this will come into comparison to later records.
That's not Make Believe.
That's Pacific. That's Pacific
Daydream.
Daydream.
Oh.
Yes, there we go. Make Believe.
Yeah.
So,
right
my
there.
kind of overall thoughts with Make Believe is while it has a lot of stuff that's boring, there's at least a couple good songs and it still sounds like Weezer.
That's
Like, they didn't fully they didn't fully sell out like they did on later records.
yeah.
But it is definitely a sellout sort of record where Rivers just wanted to be a pop star, and that's kind of the tension that drives Weezer's discography. Is what Rivers wants to make is he wants to make pop bangers, but the problem is he doesn't always know how to adjust to the modern stuff. So when he writes stuff that's a little bit more outside the box and like tries to be less mainstream, it generally pays off. But Make Believe, it has like 2 good songs on it. I will maintain that Beverly Hills is catchy and serves its purpose, and I understand that if you listen to it when it came out in 2004, you're probably sick of it, and I understand that. But me, retroactively, having not been keeping up with the band, and like I got into the band in like 2019, I don't have an issue with the song. But Perfect Situation is probably my favorite on the record, and my least favorite is probably We Are All on Drugs.
I hate that song. That is actually that might be one of my least favorite songs on Weezer discography. Like bottom 3 least favorite.
Rivers when he on jugs.
And then my favorite is Beverly Hills because I think it's really funny. That's literally the only reason. It's
Also,
like-
this is a side note, but someone said that In the Garage has a great guitar solo.
no, it does
And
not.
I decided, no, the guitar solo from Beverly Hills is more interesting.
The guitar solo from Beverly Hills is not bad.
No, it's not good, but it's better than the In the Garage solo.
It's not bad. It's like it's obviously it's not good. It's so mid, but like you don't get good solos. It's make believe.
Yeah.
It is make believe.
I just say
But yeah.
my favorite off of it is Beverly Hills, and then my least favorite is basically everything outside of the first 2 tracks.
That's pretty. That's
Just-
pretty. That tracks. All right.
That's
now
about
it's time
right.
For
I don't have
now it's
one
time for
specific
one of
I
my
can remember.
albums that I really like defending. Red Album.
Red Album.
It has pork and beans.
True. No, I'd probably put it in
B.
A tier.
I have it in B, like a solid B.
I would give it lower end of A or higher end of B. Yeah.
And here's my reasoning for it being an A tier album. I think that it is one of the most Weezer albums Weezer has ever put out. Like that inherently doesn't make it good, but like I feel like it just kind of just encapsulates a ton of what I and a lot of people love about the band. Where you have songs like Pork and Beans, you have songs like
It wheezes.
yeah, you have Troublemaker, you have Pork and Beans, you have Greatest Man That Ever Lived, you have Angel in the
Everybody
One.
Get
Like
Dangerous.
there's so many good songs on here, and even though like a lot of them kind of can tend to stray outside of what Weezer would be typically seen doing, it feels like it's very much in that spirit of like we're just gonna be nerds and like kind of do what we want to do. They ain't got a thing to prove to you, and they eat their candy with the
Their
pork and beans.
excuse my manners if I make a scene. Like it is
Yeah. No,
it is
exactly.
it is Weezer being unapologetically Weezer. There is literally a song about Weezer being unapologetically Weezer.
But it's like, but also it's not done in a fan servicey way like it's done on later records.
No, it's just this is like Weezer's last real record.
Uh,
Or one of their last real records.
Yeah, so I'd say as far as like bad tracks go, it's literally just the Cold Dark World, Automatic, and maybe Heart Songs because I hate listing things songs. I'd say those 3 are the worst tracks. But besides that, like every other track on there, I'll bump and I'll be like, "Yo, this kind of slaps." So I personally think it's A tier because it just kind of encapsulates something about Weezer that I don't really find in any other album. And favorite song is probably Greatest Man That Ever Lived. Least favorite is easily Cold Dark World.
Not can we agree on A tier? I have it as like a B or an M.
I think B.
B. I'm fine with B. Just because like it's very Weezer, but also like I don't know.
It does have Cold Dark World.
Yeah, Cold Dark World's easily my least favorite. Well, like I think
I saw someone on r/Weezer defending that song. And I was like,
sucks.
how? Like, how do you not see that song as, like, creepy stalker, r/nice guys, like, most entitled jerk you've ever seen that I would not want that dude going anywhere near any of my female friends? Like, no. How do you like that song?
To be fair, Rivers can write a song like that, but he failed.
I thought
It
Scott
fell
wrote that
flat.
song.
Did he? I don't know.
Dude.
I don't care. I don't care enough. It's just really
Yeah.
bad.
It's bad. But I almost feel like Greatest Man That Ever Lived and, like, Pork and Beans makes up for it. Like,
I don't think. I think they are. I think my issue with the track, it doesn't have anything above an A tier track, but it has like a solid F minus tier, and then like a few bad tracks.
there's a lot of S tier tracks on Red. Pork and Beans is S tier. Greatest Man is S tier.
Pork and Beans is arguably S tier. Greatest Man is arguably S tier. Those are my favorite though. Troublemaker is probably my favorite off the album.
Put me in a special school. I am such a.
I can concede A tier because I could see A tier, but I think it's like if it's the best in B. It depends on what we end up putting into A tier.
I feel like we're gonna be putting a ton of stuff in B tier that is just like
Big B tier.
frankly B tier is gonna be pretty bloated, B and C tier specifically. So I think throwing it in A tier would make more sense because I don't think we're gonna have nearly as much stuff in A tier.
That's fit. That's extremely valid because like that does make sense. They do have a lot of very mid discography.
Yeah, but like the thing is that Red is actually an interesting album.
Yeah,
and
Red.
Pretty much everything in B, C, and D tier is just uninteresting.
It definitely has its flaws, but like Weezer's discography is a very troubled one.
Next one. Oh boy.
Oh, that's right. It's Ratitude time.
Yes.
I think this one could
this
get the
Easy F. Easy
It's
F.
not we can't even call it F tier. Like we have to.
We gotta. What's
We
the
have to
dog
make
doing?
a tier just for it.
This might
The
be
dog.
this might be one of the worst albums of all time, and that is a compliment.
Horrendous.
So Sky, do you remember when before recording I had said I had something I was going to say, but I wanted to make sure we were recording when I said it?
Yeah.
This is my take about Ratitude. It's Christmas with Weezer too.
Except less awesome.
That's fair. But I was just listening to it and I'm like, why are there Christmas tropes in these songs?
Because they were like, I'm pretty sure this song is like an amalgamation. This is like this is an album written off of statistics. It's like,
No,
what is one of the greatest dance pop hits and Christmas hits of all time? Like, what are the 10 most popular songs? Let's combine everything and make it a Weezer song. Like, it's just
okay.
like they just took all the good parts out of trying to write a catchy song, and they wrote the most perfectly horrible album I have ever had the displeasure of listening to.
It is the collective work of years of research into everything wrong with late '80s pop, and let me tell you, Rivers hits his most "How do you do, fellow kids" on this record, and it is glorious.
It's really funny. Can't stop partying.
See, but
I'm your
the thing
daddy.
about Can't Stop Partying is that you listen to the demo of it, and it's like an acoustic. It's an acoustic demo where it's like there's a lot of sarcasm and just kind of melancholy to it, where it's like you're like, oh, this is a critique of the party scene. But then they record it for Ratitude and it's just totally unironic, and I'm just like,
It's so funny. It's so funny. It's like, hey, yo, it's a Weezer with the Wheezy. Honestly, the best line they've ever written, because what the hell is the Wheezy?
that's actually what Lil Wayne's nickname is Wheezy. So,
Oh, is that what it is?
yeah,
That's perfect.
why-
They really.
but we
Outstanding.
can't move on without mentioning the line, gotta stop mixing alcohol
And pharmaceuticals, it's like, that is the most. If when I think of the term cracker, I think of that line. When I think of like white boy sitting in his mother's garage listening to Fantano, I think of can't stop mixing alcohol and pharmaceuticals.
Lil Wayne wrote it.
I,
Lil Wayne part.
I know. I'm aware. And it's the it still comes across as the whitest thing you've ever heard. And it's just
All right.
it doesn't even fall flat, bro. It falls just through.
All right. So, favorite and least favorite. I'd say that my favorite, I think the best song is If You're Wondering. That's easily the best song. But my favorite is Can't Stop Partying, and my least favorite is probably In the Mall. Actually, no. Let me look at the track list. I gotta pick out what I think is the worst, or like my least favorite, like the one that adds the least to the irony of it. I'd say Tripping Down the Freeway or Let It All Hang Out is probably my least favorite.
I don't know. Yeah, valid. I would definitely do Can't Stop Partying as my favorite. In the Mall is my least favorite.
Yeah.
It's gotta go.
I didn't get this. I didn't get to speak for Red Album, so I'll go with my Red Album first. I say my favorite off of Red Album is probably Pork and Beans, and then my least favorite, I have to agree with Cold Dark World. That one's pretty bad.
Yeah.
And then for Ratitude, my favorite is If You're Wondering, and then my least favorite is Love Is the Answer.
That's one thing I like about Ratitude. Also, this is it's an unironic. There's albums that are 10 out of 10s. There's albums that are 11 out of 10s. This is the 11 of 10 out of bad albums. It's just a perfect example of like this is how you don't make a song.
Yeah, this is the antithesis to everything Pinkerton was. Like
It's-
Pinkerton got flack for being underproduced for a while and being too rough and messy and emotionally vulnerable, and this is the direct opposite of that. Like 5 million writers for every song, a Lil Wayne feature, everything is meticulously produced to sound like garbage.
And then also a Hindi version on a song.
Yeah,
that one's really funny. It's a silly album. Silly is a perfect word for it, and what were they thinking when they wrote it?
What the dog doing?
What is the dog doing?
What is the dog doing?
It does win. It's top 2. It's one thing I will commend Weezer on. They have incredible album covers. Album colors. They do. But I think Ratitude is my favorite. Weezer Blue is the most iconic, but I think Ratitude it's like just objectively so fucking good.
It's such a great album cover, but like that doesn't undermine how bad the album is, because it's like the album's gonna be awful when you see that album cover. But it's such a great album cover.
I associate this dog jumping at the camera in somebody's living room. Like this flying dog that looks kind of CGI. And then but I just associate it with like that he really can't start partying.
Oh, also, I just remembered, I must have been like 8 or 9. I remember walking through a Walmart, looking at the CD section, and seeing Ratitude there. And at this time, I didn't really know who Weezer was.
He unlocked the memory.
Oh no.
And I was just like, this is a really bizarre album cover. But then it had the parental advisory explicit content thing, and I was like, oh, I'm not allowed to listen to this. And then I just put it back.
It's so funny, bro. Ryan, bro, making the Weezer tier list unlocked a memory.
No, thanks.
Alright. I think...
to move to Hurley.
Hurley, I'm just going to say, I remember this album none. This is the album that I have, except for Where's My Sex. That's the only... And Memories. I just remember those 2 songs. Everything else I forget. It is the most forgettable album of all time.
Yeah, I'd like to skip my favorite and least favorite from this one because I don't remember a single track. I just remember I remember listening to it and being like, "Huh, I need to go do something else now."
I like the front half of this album, and then that's about it.
I think it's better than Make Believe, but it's not ordered within tiers. I think it's on the same tier as Make Believe.
I will put it as better than Make Believe. It is definitely better than Make Believe because Make Believe I would actively not listen to. Early I would listen to as like focus music. I would put it on a really low volume and just go.
Bro, relaxed close-up picture of man to chill study to.
But yeah,
No, but I am skipping my favorite and least favorite because I just don't remember. Except for my least favorite is Where's My Sex. That's all I remember.
yeah, I'll throw least favorite as Where's My Sex. I don't remember the song very well, but I don't like the title particularly. Nah, you're probably yeah.
What? I say my favorite of the album is probably it's either Memories or Trainwrecks, and then I I don't know what my least favorite would be. I can't. I don't remember the back half of the album very well, but I remember the front half super well. But out of the five or so that I remember, actually no, six because I remember Smart. I'd say Smart Girls is probably my least favorite off of it.
Bro is the Hurley connoisseur.
I guess.
I think Pop really likes Hurley.
It is?
It has things off of it I really enjoy, but
That
it's
I will
just
say
alright.
Yeah, I will say that's the most deranged Billy Cobb take. Is
Liking-
how high he has
yeah.
Hurley. I think he had it when he made his Weezer Worst to Best thing. It was right after Pacific Daydream came out. So that was the last album that was ranked. Or it was right before Black came out actually. But I digress. He I think he had Hurley over Green, Maladroit, and
Oh
all
my
the bad
God.
ones. It was an awful take. He also had Reddit 4, which I think was the single most based thing that he said in that video, because that was before OK Human came out, so it's like I can respect that. But yeah.
Based.
Billy Cobb has some whack takes on Hurley.
Hurley, it's just I don't know. I just don't remember. I like it. It might be the greatest album I've ever listened to. I couldn't tell you. I don't
Memories
remember.
Not make you want to go back there.
All right.
Not when voting
Now we get
matters.
to go on to an actual good Weezer album.
I disagree.
L take.
This is
This is the point of contention of the video, for reference, everybody. We all knew that this was going to be
This is
the
going-
longest portion we've discussed, because these two nerds like this album, and
It's a
so
great
does
album.
it's a really
so
good
does
album.
a lot of r/Weezer and just kind of general Weezer fans. I cannot stand this album.
It's
It
really good.
It is.
Okay, so here's kind of my laundry list of things that I don't like about this record. The first one is personal. I'll admit that I was heavily set to not like this because it was hyped up to be the best Weezer album post to the 90s when I was getting into the band. And then I listened to it and I was just like, this is alright. But then people just kind of kept being like, no, it's really good. If you don't like it, you have to go back and listen to it again because it's really good. And so, like, for me, I have that kind of bias, but then there's all of these things with the album that when I really think about it, it just kind of grinds my gears. The first off, this is kind of the start of one of Weezer's production decisions that continues to this day. It's something that they've done on pretty much every season. It's something that they did on Van Weezer. It's something that they did on Teal. They didn't do it on White, though, which I was happy about. They didn't really do it on Black either, but it's just kind of this way that they produce Rivers' voice and the way that they kind of mix everything together. And it almost feels like it's supposed to make him sound more young than he actually is, and it just feels so fake to me. Especially considering songs like Back to the Shack and like Eulogy for a Rock Band, where it just feels like they're like saying, hey, remember when we were good? Why don't you imagine that those good albums are this album? And then you have songs like Had It Up to Here, where it's like, you earlier have Rivers being like, I'm sorry, I'll do more what you guys want, ooh ooh. And then on I've Had It Up to Here, he's like, you know what, screw you, I'm not doing anything that you want me to do. And so it's just like, there's so many mixed messages that you get from this song. The production is kind of dog water, not gonna lie. And overall, it's just lacks so much of what makes Weezer good. I will give it that it is responsible for, like, getting Weezer back into form. Like, it's definitely better than Hurley and Ratitude. But I cannot stand this album. It's probably my least favorite Weezer album. But I will go as high as A tier because I know you two Liggets want to put it in S.
Yeah, it's a solid S for me. I think the thing about production, like, they do something weird to Rivers' voice that I don't like in anything else. But I think in an album where it's just like, it's a man going insane, like River is just. I don't know what the hell he was on when he made this album, but I don't know. He just made some shit. It's really catchy. The hooks are really
I
strong.
also disagree with that point.
I think it's really.
Actually,
I think it's really
I
got
don't
some.
disagree that it's. I don't disagree that it's catchy, but it's catchy like COVID. I don't want to have it in my head.
I think that's just you. I think it's catchy, and I would love to. You could catch me humming. You can catch me humming "Back to the Shack." It's very.
Back to the Shack is one of the worst melodies Rivers has ever written.
I
It
think
is
it's so funny.
hands down one of the worst melodies Rivers has ever written, and it is like. It is Beverly like everything that people complain about Beverly Hills being melody wise, Back to the Shack is. And also I hate the line where he talks about how Pat should play the drums. Like, just shut up and play the drums. Like, I don't care. Like, if you're making good music, cool, but I don't want to hear you apologizing to me for making bad music in the past. It was funny, but just make good music now. Stop. I hate this album.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of bias on your end. I gotta say there is some insane bias because you're taking the things that I like about the album, like how the production they made Rivers sound younger, because they're trying to do a throwback album, which I'm 90% sure that if I'm wrong about this, I don't like the album, but I'm 90% sure sorry guys, we're not making good music anymore. Like, it's definitely ironic. It's definitely sarcasm.
No, it is not. It is 100%.
It does not feel authentic.
If that is, but like every time that people quote Back to the Shack, they reference it in the fact that it's like Rivers is sincerely apologizing, which if you're trying to listen to Back to the Shack and say it's ironic, I just don't get how you can get any enjoyment out of it regardless of which way it goes, because even if it feels insincere, like, it's like Rivers is too much of a people pleaser as a person to like say that kind of thing in irony. You know?
It's ironic in the Rivers way, where it's not ironic, but I like to perceive it as ironic. I would love to perceive "Can't Stop Partying" as ironic. That's not ironic. There's nothing ironic about it. It may have been written that way. That's not how it's produced. That's not how it's released.
Yeah, that's definitely not. But like,
it's a Weezer irony.
But the difference is that with "Can't Stop Partying," we acknowledge that it's a terrible song, but we can enjoy it ironically. The thing is with "Back to the Shack," everybody insists that it's a good song.
It is.
It's not.
It's catchy. It's got a solid hook. The melody's not that great. I'll give you that, but it's catchy, and it like.
What does "Back to the Shack" even mean?
I don't know. It's funny.
They're going back to
the shack, Ryan.
What does "Back to the Shack" even mean?
It means that they're going back to the shack.
It means what they're saying.
Fact that it kind of is a pseudo rhyme with shack, a strat with a lightning strap.
It's really funny. It's just a funny album because the album reminds me of the most. It's Gratitude done well. Because it's Rivers being a total pushover, and I can view it as so ironic, even though it's probably not, because it's Rivers. Like,
definitely not. Everybody claims this is their second Pinkerton before OK Human came out, and
it's nothing like
nowhere
Pinkerton.
near as good as Pinkerton, and
it's more like Gratitude, but it's like Gratitude. But if you took the funny and you like actually threw some decent hooks on it. And like actually did it in the style of Weezer.
Give you, there is some decent writing on songs like "Foolish Father" and Da Vinci, but like I think overall it's just like I cannot tell what idea Rivers is trying to communicate to me, and the way that it lacks musically production wise, and it just doesn't work.
I think
I'm willing to concede a tier.
I won't argue further because I know you're not gonna argue. I know you're not gonna argue me up to. I know you're not gonna argue me. Let me argue you up to S. Even though we're right, me and Nod are right.
There's no way in heck you're getting this up to S. That album is some.
If anybody got me on good U-bait takes, not got me on good U-bait takes.
I like this album.
It's really funny. All right, let's do favorite and least favorite. Ryan, you feel free to sit out.
All right, no, I'm speaking to this. My least
Going
favorite
first.
is either Back to the Shack or Had It Up to Hear It, and
L.
my favorite
I
is
am
Da
pissed.
Vinci.
My favorite is Da Vinci. Yeah.
Based.
That one is just like insanely catchy. It's so good. Least favorite, it could probably be Had It Up to Here. I understand what they're trying to do, but I think that is the one thing I will give you is I think that song is horribly overrated.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I've Had It Up to Hear It also has one of my least favorite melodies on the record.
It's just that the melody for that one is boring, but it just doesn't suffer. Like I don't know, that one suffers. That's the only reason that U-Bait's that song might be the only reason U-Bait's not my favorite album from Weezer.
Oh, here I am.
Alright, not time.
Okay.
All right. My favorite off the album is the complete opposite of these weirdos. I really like I've Had It Up to Here. But my least favorite probably has to be Lonely Girl.
Very extremely valid.
I couldn't. I've listened to this album twice. I couldn't tell you Lonely Girl.
Bro has not re-listened. Lonely Girl, it's
I.
It's I still think Had It Up to Here. Like I think it's the worst. I think it's the worst on the album by a lot. I think it's the only like D tier song on there, and then I think that like Lonely Girl is like a solid like B tier track, but it's still like yeah. If you like Had It Up to Here, which it is my own hot take that I don't like.
My hot take is just the album as a whole. Like straight up, I have gotten more downvotes on r/Weezer for my U-Bait takes for any of my other ridiculous things that I've said on that sub.
Yeah, bro will be like Ratitude is their best album, and then get like 4 upvotes.
You would not get downvoted for saying Ratitude is their best album, but you say anything remotely like if you even imply that U-Bait's just okay, you get downvoted to heck.
So valid.
It's just U-Bait fans make me like the album less.
Propaganda.
That is fair. I don't like U-Bait fans. I'm a U-Bait fan, but in the way where I will concede that it's a one-way mirror sometimes. If you're not seeing,
let's stop this dumpster fire of a discussion of this album.
Yeah, valid.
And let's
Let's
move on to their other S tier album.
The Cracker album.
The White.
I love the White album.
It's
It
pretty
is-
good.
It's very good.
It's so well
It
produced,
has-
and it's the only time. Pinkerton. I'm a drummer. I have been a drummer. I am going to school for drumming. Pinkerton and White really make me appreciate Pat Wilson as a drummer.
Yeah.
The drums are incredible.
there's-
That's my commendation for White. Is just the drums are so good.
There's a lot of subtleties to the drumming that he does. Also, like, I think there's some stuff on OK Human that I really like, but we'll get to that later. But the drums on this record, I think the production as a whole, it feels like the White Album feels like what should have been the sequel to the Blue Album. Like, Pinkerton was very much a left turn compared to the Blue Album, but the White Album feels like the kind of proper follow-up to the Blue Album, where it's like, it's summery pop rock hooks with improved production, improved vocals from Rivers. I think it has better hooks on average than the Blue Album.
I'll agree with
And
that.
I think overall it's a little bit better on average than the Blue Album, but it's very, very close. And yeah, I absolutely freaking love the White Album. It is one of their best albums.
I would straight up put Blue above it, only like literally exclusively because of the fact nostalgia. Like, you don't hear a lot of people singing shit from the White Album. You hear it's like Blue is just so iconic.
Blue is easily the more important album, but I think that the White Album just barely knocks it off in quality.
In quality,
Like,
yeah.
but it's like-
But I don't think we're ranking purely on quality here.
Yeah. I mean, but they're both S tier, and we're not doing ranks within tiers.
Yeah.
So
They're just letting you know they're very interchangeable. They're both like extremely good.
I think that
Yes.
this album doesn't get enough credit for the way that it continues to build its palette sonically throughout the record,
Mm-hmm.
where that's an issue that I have with a lot of albums is when there's absolutely no sonic development from one song to another. Like it's always the same 4-piece rock kind of stuff.
Yeah, it builds really well. We forgot to mention that it does build extremely well.
Yeah, like it starts out with California Kids, which is just like a straight up like a straight up rock tune with classic Weezer guitars. But then it gets into Wind in Our Sail, and then you have piano all of a sudden, and then like you just kind of, as you go through the album, they add more textures, and then you get to Do You Want to Get High, with just like insanely noisy guitars, where it's like it's called the most Pinkerton song since Pinkerton for a reason. And yeah, this record as a whole is just fantastic. I do wish this is my one qualm with it. I do wish that they took Endless Bummer and made it into an Only in Dreams type track where it was like 8 minutes long as opposed to being like 3 minutes long. But it's still a banger album. My favorite on the record is probably ooh, that's a hard one. I think it's King of the World, and my least favorite, and this is just barely, is Wind in Our Sail. Like, I think that's the only one that I can say that I'd be like, I would be kind of okay with it being removed from the album.
My favorite is 100%. Do You Want to Get High? I love that song to death.
It's great. It's a great song.
It's a really, really good song. It's just, it is truly the most Pinkerton song since Pinkerton, and I think the fact that they made it fit into the White Album, gorgeous. Really well done by them. And then I think my least favorite is California Kids, because everything else interests me a lot more.
That's fair. I really like California Kids as a track. It's definitely in my top.
Well, that's the thing. I like it a lot. I really like it. It's just... there is no bad tracks to be found on this album.
Yeah,
it's easily their most consistent album, other than maybe Pinkerton. But everything's A tier, pretty much.
Yeah.
My favorite is easily King of the World.
So valid.
And then I'd say my least favorite is probably Girl We Got a Good Thing.
Yeah, that's a fair take.
Everything is a fair take. We could literally switch with anything. I could say Wind in Your Sail is my favorite, and you'd be like, maybe not, but yeah.
Yeah, no, like literally, I have no issue with you picking any song as the favorite from this record.
And that's how you know you made a good album.
It's just a damn good record.
Yeah.
Yeah, no thanks. And this is how I want Weezer albums to be produced. Like,
unfortunately,
if every Weezer album had this style of production, like, Weezer would be so much better.
Yeah, absolutely. Give me Seasons Winter, but it's like this.
Now we get into Knott's favorite album. This is not my favorite album. This album is very... I like it more than Make Believe, but I still think it's just very bland. I think this is huge issue.
You get to go on your rant. I went on my U-bait rant. You get to go on your Teal rant now. Go.
Teal? We're on Pacific Daydream.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Pacific. Hang on.
I mean, they're both bland, but...
let's make one thing clear, guys.
Just put it in U tier and call it a day.
Yeah.
Nah, Pacific Daydream is probably my least favorite Weezer album. I think it's F tier. It's just like, it's like Make Believe, but it fully sells out to the pop sound and doesn't have anything remotely interesting about it. And Gratitude is worse because it's worse in an endearing way, but Make Believe there's just nothing remarkable about it.
I mean, Gratitude in terms of enjoyment is here. In terms of like how enjoyable of an album it is, this is purely based on quality and like the way it has to be.
Guys, I have an important question.
Mm-hmm.
Can I go take a piss real quick?
No.
I'm gonna go take a piss. You guys can continue to discuss.
I'm gonna lose subscriber, Ryan.
No, you guys got.
We have 0 subscriber. We can't lose subscriber.
You guys can talk about Pacific Daydream. I've listened to this album like twice, and I remember nothing of it except for that I hate it.
More like,
if you guys get into it, that's also fine. I don't have any opinions on
more
that.
like Pacific Daydream. Am I right? Because it's like Ryan's taking a piss. Like he's Pacific Daydream.
He's Pacific Daydream.
He's daydreaming about his piss. I think. Not my least favorite album, believe it or not, Believe it
I
or
think
not.
I
The
think his biggest issue is that it does fully sell out to the pop
it's
sound,
fucking
but I don't think it's that terrible.
don't get me wrong,
It's bad, but not
it fucking sucks.
yeah.
It's still F tier. It's still undeniably F tier, in my opinion. But holy crap, like I think there are two albums worse than that. One is Ratitude, which is secretly better than it, and one which is just worse than it. And it might just be my hot take, but I don't know. I don't have a favorite and least favorite because I don't remember shit because it's just so boring and I turned it off like halfway. I've listened to it half a time because I got so
All right.
bored and annoyed. So what's your favorite and least favorite? Not
My favorite off of it is probably Mexican Fender, which the opening track.
yeah, that
But
one's
my
good.
least favorite, I need to go look at a list of the songs now because I don't remember the back half of it.
Don't worry, you have like 12 tracks to choose from. I think Mexican Fender is the one I remember a little bit, and that one's not bad. It's
Yeah,
fun. It's
it's not
fun.
terrible. Um, I want to say probably Get Right. It's the one I remember the least off of completely. It's just
Then it's my least favorite too because probably haven't heard it. Uh,
yeah.
and I'm sure Ryan.
I hear Happier Hour almost every day I'm at work.
Geez, they play songs from this in like 8 places. Like that's allowed.
I guess.
That's insane.
I need Happy Hour.
And then Teal.
Oh god, I hate this
This
one.
is my least favorite. This is my least favorite Weezer
This
album.
one goes. This one goes in F.
Yeah, this one's my least favorite
I
Weezer
forgot
album.
about it.
I think that I don't mind Teal. Like when I listened to Teal, I perfectly enjoyed it, but I think that it's just kind of like if you take it for what it is, that it's like a band doing a bunch of their favorite songs, like just kind of for the sake of doing it. Like
I don't
think
like
it's
it.
a C tier. Don't get me wrong. I think it's probably like a D tier.
It just
But like
no other Weezer album genuinely makes me uncomfortable.
but
Yeah.
this one has no scrubs.
That's my favorite. Congratulations, you have compared trash to garbage.
I don't.
I really
I can't bring myself to hate this record.
I
Like,
can.
I think
like I suppose that it does combine a lot of the production elements that makes me hate a lot of other Weezer albums. Like it very much does that, and it's not really like it's also not transformative. So I think that I know a lot of people don't even count this as a canon Weezer album.
That's valid.
Um,
It's genuine. It's genuine. I think it's like that. You can't tell me that Africa cover isn't a sellout song, bro.
it is
it
awful.
100% is, and
hate
it's
it.
glorious.
I hate that. That is my least favorite
It is
Weezer song. I like
Terrible.
that's 100% my least favorite Weezer song. I can't listen to it.
Dark World, not Cold Dark World.
Bottom two, but no, like Cold Dark World, and Africa have two things in common. They both make me genuinely uncomfortable, and I hate them both. They're both just like they're interchangeably bad, but it's like spray painting a body bag gold and like being like congratulations, you're better than the other body bags.
I'm going to pull the I am 1/3 of this and please pull it up to D. It does not belong in the same tier as Pacific Daydream in my opinion.
Nana and I both agreed on F.
Let's say put it above Pacific Daydream at least.
I will. I mean, we're not ordering it within tiers, but I'll do this
That
one
is
just for
fair.
sake. We're keeping it an F. I can't.
No,
Can't either.
move Green up to B, Hurley up to C, and then you move it up to D with
Don't
You know
make
what?
me do
I could
that.
go with that.
Don't make me do
I could do that. I could.
it.
see
I'd
that.
rather move Pacific Daydream up. I'm not going to do that though. And I don't think actually, yeah, Hurley belongs in C tier. C tier is supposed to be the average
Good
album.
one. I can live with this.
I can't, but I can't. I've been outvoted.
Yeah, it's the thing is
Alright,
that
favorite
I'd
and
realistically put it in like C. I'd put Teal in C, but I know that there's no way I'm getting it up there, so I'm
No.
fine with it being in D.
All right.
If you want to get it,
favorite
if you want to get
songs.
it in the sea, you actually have to come to my place of residence and like drag it here for me.
Yeah, I have to hold the gun to your head.
And that's 2 hours too many of driving. All right. What's next?
Favorite and least favorite from Teal. My favorite from Teal is Africa. My least favorite is probably Take on Me.
My least favorite is
Take on Me. Stand by Me. Stand by Me is my least favorite.
my least favorite is Africa. My favorite is Nothing I Hate at All.
Scrubs.
Honestly, sure, I'll go with that one.
I say my favorite is Happy Together, and then my least favorite is easily Africa.
It's so uncomfortable. It's like
It's so
listening.
awful.
I don't get how you guys can hate that. Like,
It's like
It's
listening.
so bad.
It's like listening to like. It's like listening to like fucking It's like listening to Taylor Swift cover "The Sound of Silence." Like that's the best thing I can equate it to.
September was right there.
What?
You literally could have said Taylor Swift covering September. That was right there.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same thing. It's just
Taylor Swift actually covered September.
I didn't even know that. I don't listen to Taylor Swift, but I think Taylor Swift doing a "Sound of Silence" cover rings pretty true. Anyways, it just hurts.
Okay, it's time for. We called the
Weezer
other one the
Black.
Kraka album, but we can't call this one that.
The Weezer Black.
Weezer gets the N-word pass. A thread.
Yeah.
Do you think Rivers Cuomo has an N-word pass?
No. I just before you disagree with me,
I wasn't going to disagree with you.
I'm
Oh no.
I am just saying I don't think I've seen a whiter man.
Guys.
It's just guys. Anyways, back to
I
the
don't know, he might have it.
he's so white.
He can write a
just
hook
like
on
me
man
for
if
real.
you wait.
He looks like my dad in 1980.
He looks like me right now.
If I could be anybody, dead or alive, I would want to be my dad in 1985.
So true.
But yeah, no.
We're gonna
Black
discuss
Album.
Black.
Why is it in C tier? Get it further up.
I have no opinions on this album straight up.
I think it's.
I think
I'd
it's
say
C tier.
no higher than B, but I think C fits it fine too.
I think B because this is Rivers doing what he does best in writing hooks. And
and
while
there's the rest of it.
some egregious tracks on here, I think Prince Who Wanted Everything is one of the worst songs that they've ever put out. That song is catchy like COVID as well.
I hate that song.
It also has some of their best stuff, like High as a Kite is a fantastic song with
Yeah.
great production decisions. Like, I have zero issues with High as a Kite as a song. Byzantine is one of my favorites, but I know a lot of people don't like that one. I've heard people call Byzantine the cilantro of Weezer's discography.
Yep.
Weirdo track.
I don't like it personally.
It's got one of, I think it's Rivers' best melody, like straight up. Like, it might not be his best, but like there's no melody that I've just been like, oh, this is like a really, really good melody, and I think that it's just kind of a cute little song.
I like Across
and
the
then-
Seas melody.
Yeah.
Knock the hustle.
Can't Knock the Hustle, leave a 5-star review and I'll leave you one too. Like, that song's a banger.
I really enjoyed living in LA.
Yeah, Living in LA is one that grew on me after I got to see an acoustic version of it.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite song off the record. I think.
Yeah, and so while this record can be kind of vapid in parts, I think it's at least more memorable than a lot of other stuff.
I'll
So,
give it up for B tier simply because yes, it's just Hurley is in this tier and it's better than Hurley
It is 1000% better than her.
because I remember every track. Like that's something I cannot say about Hurley.
I remember, yeah, I can say I pretty safely remember every track, and I also listen to the Black Album a ton. It's one of those albums that I just go back to. Like, it's definitely in my top 5 favorite Weezer albums, even if I don't think it's in their top 5
Valid.
best.
I don't re-listen to it simply because there's some songs I can't sit through.
You fool.
I always skip the Prince Who Wanted Everything.
That's a
It is
skip, yeah.
it is an
Yeah.
awful song. California Snow has kind of grown on me. That one's
I don't
kind of
know.
got
A
that
little
one's
bit.
got Can't Stop Partying energy.
Yeah, but like,
He literally said, "When I play guitar, it's sick." Woo.
just without the charm, like, can't stop partying is like, I don't know. It's like a piss tornado and a shitstorm. And
Beautiful.
I have such a way with words. And then that one is and then that one
Drinking
is
like expletives.
and then that one is a piss tornado and a piss storm.
Okay.
That makes
So
sense.
so we're saying excrements are slightly better than urine.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
All right.
But my favorite off of Black is Byzantine, and my least favorite is Prince Who Wanted Everything.
I will.
Um, so my favorite is High as a Kite, and my least favorite is also The Prince Who Wanted Everything.
Yeah, high as a kite and Prince Who Wanted Everything. Favorite and least favorite for sure.
Yeah. Based.
All right.
we get to the objective best Weezer
Now we
album.
get to my favorite album by them.
All right, not you can talk about this one first. Okay, Boomer.
I love this album. Um, I don't know. I don't know what to say.
What do you love about it?
I what's it? It is by far. I think like is as relatable as I do find Pinkerton. I find myself relating to this one more. It's
That's
I find
probably a
it.
good thing.
It's a more like
I hope so. Yeah.
it's like a more matured Pinkerton in a sense. It's
Yeah. There's a lot of the same emotions between the two records,
yes
but like
that
where you have kind of like where you have horniness on Pinkerton, you have fear of stagnation in OK Human, but like you still have those
yeah.
feelings of frustration and loneliness
I don't think that
and
my
like isolation
yeah my
between the two records.
that's
Identifies
my
that.
I love that album for that, but I think my gripe with it is it doesn't encapsulate a feeling as perfectly as Pinkerton. It
Yeah.
it does. There is. It's like if you had to ask me what is the album referring to, it's like it's this guy and he's like afraid of just like plateauing, but and like
I'd say
growing.
OK Human is almost the perfect COVID album as far as I've concerned. I listened to a decent amount of like different COVID projects, and I think OK Human is definitely my favorite.
Okay,
But
human.
then again, the other one that I remember the best is 21 Pilots' COVID project, which was abysmal. But
Yeah.
um,
Okay,
we don't have to
human.
get into that.
That's not a different video. Okay, human is. Okay, human is pretty great.
Yeah, it's an S tier for me.
Yeah, it's an S tier. I can't
Some
disagree
days
with
I
that.
want to say it's better than Blue, but like but then I just like go back and listen to Blue and OK Human, and I'm like, yeah, no, it's not better than Blue.
I think it's
but
better than
it's
white. I think it's better than white.
I
I
disagree.
can go away and I agree.
But like again, this
Again,
doesn't have
unordered.
to be ordered.
I'm just
Yeah,
that
that's
one's
true.
that one's me giving my opinion. Like I think my personal ranking Pinkerton, blue, okay human, then white. And nobody's gonna disagree with that because we all agree those are the
I
four best.
agree with that.
We all agree those are the four best albums.
Those are easily the four best Weezer albums. Like, no contest.
These three clear hard. Like Ubate is up there for me, but I would honestly leave this tier gap because I don't enjoy it as much as these four.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah, OK Human is great. I love OK Human. I
Not
love
a
OK
single issue
Blue.
with the album
Mm-hmm.
I
Absolutely.
that I have.
The only thing that I really feel about it is I feel like it's a little short.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like I wish
That
that
is
Rivers
true.
I wish Rivers kind of fleshed out some ideas a bit more.
Yeah, I agree.
Like I absolutely love Mirror Image, and the fact that we don't get more stuff about the Rivers' home life, aside from you could argue Grapes of Wrath being like, oh, I have a lot of time to listen to audiobooks or whatever. But I think that just Mirror Image is such a beautiful picture of his and his wife's relationship, whereas like a lot of love songs that Rivers writes are generic. that one, it's like you can tell that one is specifically about his wife.
Yeah,
And I love that.
that's Rivers giving a masterclass on how do you actually write a love song about a person and not because you
It's
can
like-
listen you can go listen to any other
4 lines.
yeah,
But my favorite from OK Human is Bird with a Broken Wing.
absolutely.
Because I like how that one I like how Rivers kind of sums up his experience as a musician and how he feels like even though he's not as great as he used to be or as like cutting edge, he's still like got a lot to offer. And I love that image. It's just a great one, and I think that it gives me a lot of hope for the future of Weezer. But then again, like, we have the next album coming up, which I'm going to follow up. But my least favorite is probably Screens. But OK Human is just solid from front to back, so.
Yeah. I'll go with my favorite is definitely Bird with a Broken Wing. I think that is the true standout track of this album. And then I guess my least favorite. It's just I don't know. It's just
He didn't say Everything Happens for a Reason, the instrumental ditty before Here Comes the Rain.
I get Here Comes the Rain might be my least favorite actually.
Oh no. Yeah.
Say, my favorite is La Brea Tar Pits.
I love that one. Yeah.
I love it. It's awesome. But I don't know if I could pick a least favorite from this album
That's
because
where
I love everything on it so damn much.
That's what I'm feeling. Like Here Comes the Rain is my tentative least favorite, simply because I remember it the least. I think it's incredible, but like everything is on this album. You don't have a miss.
I can't really pick a least favorite off of it. I love it.
And that's one thing I think that's really good about most of their S tiers other than Blue, which is Blue is carried by having... It's carried
by its 4 best tracks.
It's carried by being Blue. It's carried by being... It's just Blue.
It's
and I think
literally the Funny Buddy Holly album.
And I don't think it gets much better than that. So yeah, like as far as their other S tiers albums, one thing Weezer struggles with a lot is consistency. And damn, when they hit consistency, they hit it right.
Yeah, but sometimes they hit consistency in the opposite direction. Shoutouts to Ratitude for real.
Shoutouts to literally everything in D tier, F tier, and what were they thinking tier.
Yeah. All right. Now we're on to Van Weezy.
Van Weezer.
So you know how Bird with the Broken Wing says he's still got a song to sing. The song is One More Hit. We are living in a bad future.
Yeah.
Pump it up.
Van Weezer, it's like following up OK Human with this is insane to me.
Well, Van Weezer was supposed to come out before OK Human.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just got delayed.
Oh, because of COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I don't hate Van Weezer. I think that there's a lot of songs on it that I enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
Like Hero, I really like.
Hero's
I think
good.
Hero, I really like. Precious Metal Girl is a really cute song. I really like that one.
That's my favorite song.
I also think that
Beginning of the End.
Call it? Beginning of the End is kind of cool. I think One More Hit, aside from the goofy aw line, is actually a pretty darn good song, but they had to ruin it with the goofy aw line.
Which is why it's my least favorite, because why would you do that to such a decent song?
And I think my least favorite is Blue Dream because they frickin' took the Crazy Train riff and acted like they could improve on it.
That is
so fair. That song makes me a little angry. Because
also, I do not get why people compare this to Maladroit. Maladroit is filled to the brim with great hooks and good writing, and like it's got a raw feel to this, and everything about this record feels super produced.
It feels it feels like Teal, man.
Just warm milk.
It's not the most overproduced record that Weezer has put out.
Ratitude.
I'd say Pacific Daydream is their most overproduced. Ratitude is up there as well.
I think Ratitude's their most overproduced just because it's like
It's literally Ratatouille.
they
I'm your
couldn't
It
daddy.
is.
they couldn't have possibly done a worse job, which is just like overproduction has to play a factor in that.
Yeah, that is super fair. But yeah, no, I think my favorite song off the record is probably Precious Metal Girl, and my least favorite is Blue Dream because Blue Dream just kind of bugs me. Um, but overall, I like it. I personally think that yeah, C tier, C B, kind of in between them. Like I personally prefer. I'd rather listen to Van Weezer than Green.
That is so valid. But also, like, I think Green. I'm gonna.
It kind of has legacy on it.
Yeah, it has a higher peak. I think first of all, I think my favorite is favorites Precious Metal Girl. Least favorite is One More Hit.
Pump it up.
Pump
For
it
sure, my
up.
favorite is Hero, and my least favorite is Blue Dream.
Yeah, fair.
Bass.
I don't like Blue Dream either. It's just that and One More Hit. One More Hit is like somebody stepped on a Van Gogh, and then Blue Dream is like. It's like if somebody stepped. It's like if somebody stepped on like some middle aged woman's like life project art, and then like Blue Dream is just like it's the same thing but with like a Van Gogh.
Blue Dream is basically Blue Dream is when a high schooler thinks they're the hot stuff.
I don't like. Yeah, I just don't like either. I will say both are my least favorite because I think I dislike them the exact same amount. Other than that, I think it's the album ever, and I would put it in Hurley because it's not one I desire to revisit.
Early down a tier, you won't.
Put it down a tier.
I don't think
Hurley
I
down.
will like Make Believe. It can't go
I
in
don't
the
think it's
same.
make believe bad.
It can't go in the same tier as Make Believe and Teal.
But Make Believe has more songs that I'd return to.
And yeah, and then it has more. And then it has more songs that I'd skip. Hurley has 0 songs.
I'd skip all of Hurley.
I would rather listen to it than most of the stuff on Make Believe.
I'd rather listen to Make Believe all the way through, but I think like for me they're about equally bad. Where do I have? I have a ranking of all the Weezer.
And then for me, Teal. It can't be in the same tier as Teal. Straight up.
I have Hurley one spot worse than Make Believe on my ranking.
That's
Damn.
that's not invalid. I will see your argument, and then I think that I would rather listen to a nothing album than an album with so much garbage.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. Also,
We
Sky,
can
do
move
you
Van
want
Weezer
to
up, though.
touch on Death to False Metal since it's on the chart.
Mhm.
I feel like Teal is a more canon album than Death to False Metal. I listened to Death to False Metal, I didn't care for it, and I don't care about it.
Is it Hurley tier?
I think it's Hurley tier because
Okay,
it's
put it with Hurley, just
it-
so that we can have it on there.
it's so unimportant to their discography that I don't feel a need to rank it. I feel like Teal is them trying to sell out more. I feel like Death to False Metal is just a big old why. Like it's a big question mark, and I guess that's better than literally like their 3 or 4 worst albums.
All right, now it's time for the seasons. Now this
love
one, I meant to go back and revisit all of the seasons before we shot this, but then I had something come up where I couldn't.
Mhm.
But
I listened to them instead of paying attention in my class today. So
Cool.
I think the seasons are decent. I think overall, but it also just feels like Rivers is kind of doing whatever he wants, and that just kind of is frustrating.
yeah,
Like it's like okay, Rivers. It's not Rivers writing personal songs. It's Rivers doing what he thinks, doing what he wants, which is basically what will be popular.
yeah.
Because he's a massive people pleaser, thanks to the scars that Pinkerton left. But I think Spring is okay. It's pleasing to the ear, and I have less issues with it than a lot of the stuff in C tier.
It is a B
Give it a
tier.
B.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, no, move Van Weezer back down to C because Spring is a cut above it, and it's definitely not A.
I was Van Weezer and B is just saying that it's Okay, I'm going to add one more tier. I am.
Uh-oh.
I feel like there should be a B plus and a B minus.
What I'm gonna do is I think that they have a really polarizing discography. I think
I
I
can live
think
with this.
I think this is more accurate.
Yeah,
And
I,
shit, we'll
I
throw
agree with
yeah,
Weezer.
this is more accurate.
Yeah.
Van Weezer is in between the decent part of the discography and the like really good part. Like, I think
I think
Red.
that Green should go with Van Weezer
I am completely fine with that, and I will agree to that.
because I definitely think Black is a cut above Green because it's at least interesting in the same way that I think Red is A
Green,
tier.
yeah, green makes me green makes me feel. Green and Van
Nothing.
Weezer make me feel the same way. It's both of them. I'll be sitting there and I'm just like, I'm sitting there deadpanning, doing something else while also listening.
Yeah. But yeah, no. Favorite track off of Spring is probably opening night. Wild at Heart's probably my least favorite.
Huh.
But like I'm pretty indifferent towards Spring, but I do think it's a cut above Green and Van Weezer.
Yeah. 1 second. I'm gonna grab my phone real quick. It's literally across the room. I just need to pick it up.
Yeah, my favorite off of Spring is A Little Bit of Love. And then my least favorite is I'd agree Sound of Drums.
Yeah.
I'll
Sound
get
of
that
Drums
later.
is kind of forgettable.
I don't dislike it. It's just
That's the
most of
thing
it's
about
better.
Spring is it's pretty inoffensive, but it also has like
It's a
also has the
Spring album.
yeah, it has the same production issues that I feel like plague a lot of late Weezer.
Mm-hmm.
Like it has the same production issues that Van Weezer has, but I think that they're less egregious.
Yeah, I agree. I will hard agree with that. I think favorite's opening night, and I don't have a least favorite. I feel like the tracks that don't like nothing offends me on this. It's all kind of the same.
Yeah. All right. It's on to Summer, the greatest waste of production.
I
God,
don't like it that much.
this is my least favorite of the.
This is the worst season so
Yeah.
far.
I think just taking the songs and not taking into account the production, Summer is my favorite. Just entirely based off the songs and the potential that I see in the record. However, it's an incredibly frustrating listen for me because it's
Because
like,
they fucking messed up.
yeah, they destroyed the production, and I think that there's a lot more times where I'm thinking to myself, like, how on earth do I justify Rivers singing this lyric than I do on like other records? Which is like for me, it's like that's how I figure out if something's like cringe or not. Is like if I find myself feeling the need to justify a lyric, it probably isn't that good.
Yeah, I will say the writing's not. Yeah, the writing's not half bad. It's the fact that it just shows. It's a great example of, hey, here's how production can ruin an album.
Yeah, it's almost as bad as like I think that Make Believe could have been a good album with better production. Like I think
Yeah.
Weezer albums live and die by their production, and I would put Summer in C tier because I think that it's probably worse than Van Weezer.
Yeah, it's just really I could put it in D tier too. It's just really frustrating.
No, I don't think it's D tier.
I have it. I'm fine with C or D personally. I don't think it goes above though.
Mm-hmm. And then now on favorite from Summer is probably let me look at the track list real quick. This is the one that I've thought about the least out of every album. Actually, no, Fall is probably the one that I've thought about the least. I've listened to Fall exactly once.
I have listened to it 2 times now.
My favorite is probably What's the Good in Being Good. My least favorite is Blue Like Jazz.
Very valid. I'm gonna go ahead and say my favorite. Is definitely What's the Good of Being Good. I think I can agree with you on that one. I will say my least favorite is Cuomoville.
That's a good pick.
It's just not fun.
I liked
He liked.
I don't know. I said my least favorite is Cool Mobile. I don't like that one. But my favorite,
I don't know.
I don't like that one.
Sucks.
But my favorite, I would probably say either Lawn Chair or Blue Lake Jazz.
So well.
Launcher's a decent one, yeah. I don't like Blue Like Jazz.
I
I
kind of
like
like.
the I
I
like the
kind
whole
of.
I like the whole Angels on Vacation motif that the first two had
Yeah.
kept on with.
I don't mind Blue Lake Jazz at all, to be honest. I think.
For me it's like the most egregious like Vivaldi melody let me turn this into lyrics thing that I just don't like it.
That's fair. That's very fair.
That was my initial problem with opening night, but opening night kind of grew on me when Shakespeare Makes Me Happy being the funniest line I've ever heard.
That was really funny.
Hamlet makes me happy.
All right. I think this one is what his said about it, what his needs to be said about has been said. So I think we move on to autumn here.
I like this one.
This is my favorite.
It is the best season.
I think it's still
Yeah.
I think it's still B tier, but I think it is. I think it is.
It's still. It's their. I feel like it's the one where the production pissed me off the least.
Yeah, hard agree.
And there's also like more songs that I'd consider like really, really like more songs that I'd consider good from it than I would from any other season. Like Tastes Like Pain I really, really liked. Francesca was pretty catchy if I recall correctly.
Francesca's my favorite off the album when we get there.
Yeah, Run Raven Run, I feel like people were kind of overrating. I liked the bit at the end with it, but I just wasn't as huge on it as everybody else was. I wouldn't say it's my least favorite, but it's not as good as, like, I don't think it's as good as everybody says it is.
Yeah. I think my favorite is Francesca. My least favorite is Can't Dance, Don't Ask Me.
Yeah. I couldn't pick a least favorite. I just don't remember the album well enough.
Valid.
But
I
my
just
favorite
that one
probably Tastes Like Pain.
that one's good. That one's
Taste-
good.
Tastes Like Pain makes me feel like we're back in the Pinkerton era.
Yeah.
Francesca's just kind of it's kind of cute. It's kind of cute.
I say
It's like
my
Paint It
favorite.
Black.
Yeah.
I say
great.
my favorite off of it is like What Happens After You a lot. My least favorite is probably Should She Stay? Should She Go?
That one, yeah, that one and like can't leave or whatever. Can't dance. I also those two are very uninteresting, and
Alright.
that rounds it out.
That's Weezer.
But we gotta since winter's coming out soon, we gotta make our predictions for where we think it's gonna be.
What were they thinking?
I think I can't predict it because it fully depends on can they produce it.
Here's my thing. I think it's either Pinkerton quality, or it just straight up is like D
Make
tier.
believe.
Yeah,
Like I think it's like Curly level of bad or like make believe level of bad, where they just kind of totally mishandle the lyrics and stuff, or it's just like one of the best albums that they've put out in a very long time. Because basically what my prediction was for the seasons was we were gonna get one really good album, two mediocre albums, and one bad album. And I don't really feel like we got the bad album. I think Summer's probably the closest because of the production, but I think that we also haven't gotten the really good album. So
Alcohol.
here's to hoping that Winter is good. But yeah, this is our official canon Weezer tier list. If you disagree with us collectively, you're wrong. Beautiful.
I like how it formatted horribly.
Yeah. We'll probably post this tier list to r/Weezer and then post the video a couple days later.
Ryan, can you actually? We'll talk about this off camera, but yeah, thank you guys. Thank you. Big appreciation if you have sat through this whole thing because it is like an hour and a half of three fellas talking about their love of talking about the Weezer discography.
Thank you and good night. I will be seeing you and I will be seeing you.
That is one of the things you have ever said, and I couldn't agree more. I will be seeing you, and I will be seeing you. Not give an outro.
I buy.